Hi, everyone, and I am very, very, very excited to have a beautiful, gorgeous, special guest with me today, Neha Syed. How are you today?
Good, very good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, so Neha is an inspirational, she is a woman of wearing different hats. She's a serial entrepreneur and has two different group of businesses and has been a graduate from Stanford and then Harvard. And I just was so inspired and I wanted to have Neha with me on this episode. Neha, how did your journey begin and tell me all about it?
So, we can start with sort of like the start of my professional career. So, after graduating, I started my career in consulting, which is a very professional and cutthroat type of environment. I think it's important to start there because that environment gave me almost everything that I have today, right? So, a very strong skill set, a very structured approach to problem solving, critical thinking. And I think if it hadn't been for that stint in consulting, I wouldn't be able to start the ventures that I did after that. So post consulting, I started my own educational vocational center. We do teaching qualifications, among other skills-based qualifications. And this for me is exciting because I'm very passionate about education. So I build a lot of educational technologies and curriculum. But it's like a chance for me to see how people think and learn and how they grow in their own careers. And I think that's kind of where the wellness angle comes in. Mm-hmm. So wellness is like the kind of missing piece of the puzzle. After education, I went into like starting a wellness business, which primarily does a lot of home care. So a lot of home massages, home treatment protocols.
Beautiful.
And that's basically the behind the scenes of what I see in the education space, right? You get to see how people's mind, body, and soul is connected and how they grow. That's kind of how it all started, and that's where I am today. I'm running the education business and the wellness business. We just started an organic line of products, which is also part of the wellness business, Sukun. So we do organic honey, extra virgin olive oil, majdoul dates, and we basically started this as part of the wellness business as well.
I am just absolutely loving every bit of it because I think now is this beautiful realm of wellness awareness among all of us, and just what we were discussing before the podcast. And I think this is so important where we get to give ourselves the quality time, and you are giving them in the luxury and convenience at their home. How did the idea start?
So to be honest, I think it wasn't like a aha moment. I think it was a gradual realization. I think as a woman and especially as a mother, you see other women and other mothers around you trying to juggle so many different roles and responsibilities, and you see them burn out. It happens, right? Because I think with our generations and the ones that are coming up, the pressure that women put on themselves has become exponentially more than it was in previous generations. We want to do everything. It's a lot of internal pressure. We want to be mothers and high performers and career women.
Yes, absolutely.
So it's like you give, and then where does it end? You burn out, and where do you stop to receive? So I think that realization kind of made me go into wellness. It also came right after COVID, which made us realize the importance of doing things in the comfort of your own home. So now we basically take wellness to your doorstep, and we help you understand that it's really, really important to take a break, to pause, and to really kind of focus on self-care, to take care of yourself so you can take care of all the other people around you.
Amazing. And also, tell me a little bit about the different options. Like, I was really intrigued by the lymphatic. So it's like, because most of us from burnout or high cortisol, it's even more profound than physiotherapy, I feel.
Yeah.
So, you have different variations of options for the clients.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's why this business is so close to my heart, because it's not just about temporary relaxation. It's really about sustainable, holistic self-care. So we do massages like lymphatic drainage, which is so important to kind of help get like water retention, toxins out of your body. And these are things that you don't think that are important for you. It's only once you sort of start doing it, you realize the positive impact that it has on your body and like your soul and your mind. We use words like therapeutic instead of pampering because that's doing justice to the science behind what we do. You know, it's healing. What we do is taking care of you. It's not just giving you a little bit of a break.
Right.
It's helping you take care of yourself long term.
And regulating our nervous systems.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like a complete science.
Absolutely.
And it's more like a workout gym. I feel like it's
Yeah.
giving you that same effect, and it lasts. And so, how do they book with you? I mean, how you? I will share everything in the
Yeah, absolutely.
with the viewers. But by what name exactly are you on Instagram? And
So our so the home massages, it's called Sukun Wellness. You know, you can find us on sukunwellness.com, or you can find us on Instagram with that handle, sukun.wellness. And you can book online or you can book on WhatsApp. We've tried to make the booking system really easy. So,
wonderful.
you know, whenever you're on the go, you can just quickly book. You get home, you have someone waiting for you to take care of you. And that's the intention behind it.
Yeah. So Neha, speaking of nourishing your body, how about nourishing, your physical? Tell me about your organic line of business. It just sounds so, organic, and everyone is coming into having the right kind of nutrition.
Yeah, absolutely. So food is so extremely important, right? Like food is it's foundational, it's powerful, and it's deeply personal. And so being in wellness, you can't tell people to take care of their bodies by getting treatments and massages, but not focusing on the food element, because I feel like that's just as important, if not more. So we started this organic food line with the intention of introducing not just pantry staples like honey and olive oil and dates, which is what we focus on, but to help people understand that this is an act of nourishment. You know, what you put into your body today is going to manifest itself 20 years later, 30 years later. It'll either support you when your body needs it the most, or, you know, God forbid, it'll manifest itself as a disease or an illness.
Of course.
It's not something you'll see tomorrow. It's not something you'll realize tomorrow, but it really is something that comes about in the future. So if you come to our house, like my 4-year-old will talk to you about healthy eating. You know, she cooks and bakes with me almost every day.
Beautiful.
Because it's such a big part of our lifestyle. It's not a one-time thing. We truly believe in this. You know, I want my kids to understand the importance of what they're putting in their body and, you know, how it impacts their bodies. And that's kind of how important, you know, food is. Like it's the biggest investment that you will make in yourself.
Of course, from gut health to longevity and being fit, and then so that's really nice. So you source the honey, dates, oil, all from the organic sources, and
Absolutely, yeah.
Beautiful.
So that was very, very important to me. So ethical sourcing of these products was something that I would never compromise on. So the extra virgin olive oil, the majdoul dates, we source them from Palestine.
wow.
The honey we source from Yemen and Kashmir. And basically the places that we've picked, they have the best of the best.
Of course, in the
right?
world, yes.
Absolutely. You know, don't get me wrong, like supporting causes, like particularly supporting Palestine is extremely, extremely important to me. I really care about the cause, but these products are so exceptional on their own that you don't need to talk about the cause. You just kind of appreciate them for their merit, for what they are. They really are the best of the best, and we've chosen places that grow, you know, dates and grow olives in a way where it's completely untampered. You know, they're handpicked, they're cold pressed, so you basically get something straight from the source. You know, you're not getting something which has gone through processing and heating, and it's like losing all of its nutrients along the way. So by the time you kind of take a spoon of the honey from the grocery store, you're not getting any benefits from it. You know, it's not medicinal anymore. It's not giving you anything to nourish your body. So yeah.
It's so amazing, and I can't wait to try. And how can they order these these supplies?
Yeah, so we have a website. It's called sukunorganics.com. You can order anything off of the website. We have an Instagram page, Sukun Organics, where you can kind of reach out to us on WhatsApp and place orders.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
That's fantastic. So I'm going to have all of these links in so we can,
Thank you.
experience the organic nutritions. And Neha, tell me about your second line of business, which I really thought was amazing, about training of the practitioners. Share some light on this side.
Yeah, so this, this has been like my first passion, my first love, let's call it. Being an educator, teaching teachers, so train the teacher. that's something that's extremely important because you're essentially giving someone the skill set to teach your kids, right? To help the next generations come up. And that's a big responsibility. So we basically work with a lot of international awarding bodies. We work with local regulators here in the UAE to create and deliver programs which helps get teachers licensed to be able to teach, across the spectrum, whether it's early years or primary school or, high school. We equip them with like the skills and the knowledge to be able to go out there and teach kids.
And especially in the UAE, you have to be certified, you have to be licensed, and it's such an important journey. And then providing them with those tools and certifications, that is fantastic. So does it also have to do with your, pursuing and going to Stanford and then Harvard? That's amazing. Tell me about your choice of, choosing education as your master's and.
Yeah. I think that's why education, is my first passion, is because, I worked really hard to get to Stanford for my undergrad. And I think it's once that you kind of go through that process of getting into one of the best schools in the world is when you realize like it does have something to give you, that education stays with you for life. It becomes a part of who you are. And it translates in so many ways of what you give back to the world.
Yes.
Right? What you kind of input into the world, like in terms of like your work, your family life, with your kids as a mom. It all comes from a certain place. And I think for me, like that's been through my education. And so that's why I pursued my master's in education. So I have an MEd in technology and innovation in education, because that's what I want to do. I want to innovate. I want to create new educational technologies, new methodologies. And that's kind of where we are
it's
today.
So inspiring. Yeah. Yes. I mean, I just absolutely love the choice of, major that you did, because it is like you're saying, you can give it of service, and then you don't look like a mom.
Thank you.
And then, and I'm sure the children are learning. And then
Exactly.
how do you juggle all these different roles, Neha? Is it challenging? Is it like, it's like a whole science where, cultures expect certain, there's certain expectations of, we should not compromise on the time given to our kids, and then also balancing professional and personal lives. How do you do all of that?
It's definitely a balancing act for sure, and it's not easy. So I think if any woman's telling you, oh, like it's really easy, you can have it all, like it's a lie. It's not. You have to be very conscious about the choices that you make. I don't believe that you sacrifice one part of yourself to get the other, but you definitely have to be very conscious about the choices that you're making, right? The important thing is really knowing who you are, what your values are, and leading from that place. Because I think when you lead from a place of authenticity, you are then able to kind of attract the opportunities and attract the right type of, milestones and other types of opportunities which go in line with who you are as a person. So for me, like, I don't think that like my work is at the center of my family life. It's the other way around. My family is at the core of who I am and what I do and why I do it. And I lead from there.
Beautiful. Yes, because I think that as a woman, mother, and an entrepreneur, if you are, because children seem to be your legacy, how we have seen our parents giving us that, that beautiful opportunity, and how we have to, take it forward and making sure that, their building blocks are intact.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And I think children are like sponges, they absorb everything that they see around them. And it's not that you have to directly tell them to do something. They pick up on things in their environment based on their observation, based on like how they see interactions between their parents, how they see their mothers at home, in the workplace. And that's basically what it is. Like when you're true to who you are and your own values, your kids will learn from that, from watching you and from observing you. Yeah.
So coming to my other question is, like, you have traveled, you have been to different countries. How do you think, UAE seems to be a beautiful platform for women, for business people, and how do you rate it and find it to be like a beautiful platform?
Yeah, I think there's no place like the UAE. there really isn't. I was in the States for my education, but I never wanted to live there because I felt like it didn't even come close to not just the life that we have here, but the opportunities that we have. And I think it's such a beautiful blend of the East and the West. It helps you kind of stay grounded. It helps you, helps you dream. You can kind of aim for whatever heights that you want to.
Absolutely.
Being a woman, there's no door that's closed to you. In fact, women are being supported so much in so many different ways, whether you're Emirati, whether you're an expat. There's countless opportunities. So you're not scared to have a dream. You're not scared to have goals. And that's so important for the place that you live in, right? To not feel
Beautiful,
like
yes.
you're being held back.
You're absolutely right. What advice would you like to give to the woman? And the reason why I'm focusing more on women is, but in general, who wants to start out a business, who wants to, live that passion dream that has been inside, and what does it take? What is the secret sauce? Oh, and how can they just unleash their true potential?
Honestly, I think it's taking the first step. I think it's not being scared to take the first step. And I think it's not being scared of failing. I think a lot of women, because we're so used to, achieving and we're so used to kind of doing everything, we're also a little bit scared of failing. And that holds you back. So I think the biggest advice is quite simple, really. It's like if you have a goal or a dream or a plan for a business, don't be scared to take the first step. And don't be scared to fail because honestly, there's no other way to learn. If you don't fail, how are you ever going to learn and come back stronger from that? So.
And what I can also see from you is like having a beautiful balance of beauty and brains. And, the Sukun Wellness is just so, I can't wait to, book a massage and how important it is for women to take care of themselves.
It's absolutely. It's so extremely important, right? Like, science shows, and it's not just women, like men and women, who indulge in self-care practices, there's a 40 to 50% lower risk of cardiovascular diseases for people who do self-care, whether that's through food, whether that's through body work or movement. There's a 40 to 50% lower risk of cardiovascular disease.
Phenomenal.
It's a huge percentage. There's a lot of studies done that show that 66% of participants who were women in that study, they say that they feel like they're happier overall in their life. They feel like they have better relationships. They have more confidence if they have regular self-care rituals or practices that they indulge in. So there's definitely like science behind it. Women need to take care of themselves. They must, because if you don't, then what's stopping you from burning out and from, crashing? That happens too a lot, and we see it, unfortunately.
Wow, that is so insightful, and most importantly, for us to realize how we should, just give ourselves that me time and optimize life as we're experiencing it, and not to miss out, and then be the better versions for our children, for our families, for our businesses, and it all starts from us. Yes.
100%. And now you mentioned me time. I think that's also very important, right? Like to realize when to switch off and how to switch off, right? And I think everybody switches off in different ways. The things that make you happy, or things that kind of bring you peace and quiet and tranquility. And I think it's so important to kind of listen to your body, like listen to your inner self, and switch off, when your body's telling you to switch off.
Is there any last, thing you would like to share with the listeners on how they can make the most of 2025 and, something that, before we close this interview?
Yeah, I think, I think in a place like Dubai where there's so much going on, right? It's a land of opportunity. I think it's so easy to also sometimes get carried away or to kind of get lost into distractions, exactly, to kind of forget, your goals, to forget your values, what makes you stay authentic and stay true to yourself. So I think it's just about, taking small breaks and remembering how to stay true to your values and how to kind of lead from that place of authenticity. Because I think by doing that, you're kind of tapping into your own vibrational frequency. and you're tapping into kind of your own inner self, which is so important. You know, it's so important to kind of know who you are. It's important to be self-aware. And in a place like Dubai, you can sometimes kind of get lost a little bit. You can get distracted, like you said. And yeah, just taking a pause and remembering what that is, I think is so
Yes.
important for 2025.
Yes, absolutely. I think Neha, this has been such a beautiful and a wonderful sit down, and then you have shared, and I feel so inspired already. You know,
Oh.
like I just think that all of us can learn and can grow, and I will be having all the links of your, of your company, and especially we want to book the wellness side, the massage, and I can't wait to have you back
Yeah,
on
likewise,
another
yeah.
episode, perhaps.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. So thank you, everyone, so much for this amazing time I had with Neha, and I think that you guys must have also, felt inspired. And I look forward to the next episode. And have a great day. Thank you so much, Neha.